money there. But this is talking about doing it all the time. You can save on water. Even though we haven't had, and probably the reason we haven't bought any pop lately is because we don't have any ice. I don't like warm pop. I can handle warm water, but warm pop doesn't go over too well with me. So my wife loves her coffee. She loves going to the place in Mount Vernon, Keen Bean or something, and buying her coffee. So each person has their own vices that they deal with. So batch your errands instead of running an errand or two every day. Batch them into one errand a day and plan your most efficient route to save gas. We don't do a very good job with this, but we also, my wife usually on the way home will stop and do an errand. So but she buys 4 or 5 things each day instead of a bigger group. So probably not the best thing to do either. Stay at home, and this is talking about work as well as, no, I think we got another later on work. So just stay at home, spend time at home with family, save on that entertainment expense, eating out, shopping expenses, gas, everything. So nothing wrong with staying at home and watching your cable, I guess. Stop using,
we're not supposed to use.
yeah, stop using credit cards. Credit cards are not evil, but they do. A lot of times people will get them maxed out, and then the interest will start building up, and they're overwhelmed with that. So that's a big one. Cancel subscriptions. If you remember, if you were at my How to Live workshop, this was a big one. Cancel subscriptions. People usually look up online magazines and stuff if you're interested in reading them. We have one subscription, that's the Reader's Digest, and the only reason we have it is because my sister-in-law bought it for us for Christmas. That was her Christmas gift to us. And how many times we've read it? Probably 0. And so it's probably a big waste, but it's her money, not mine. So. Make your own. My wife came home a few months ago. She found a book at the library. She wanted to make a flower, not a flower box, but a growing box. She went and bought a piece of glass, and we made it. She went and bought the wood. It took us a long time to put this thing together because we did it one phase at a time. But finally got this nice looking, not the most well-built box that she can grow start out her vegetables and stuff that she wants to put in our garden. So building bookshelves, things like that is some examples there. Do it yourself or have your children do it if you have children. That's my philosophy now. Get my sons to do it. Stop paying interest on those credit cards and mortgages and stuff, so pay extra, we talked about earlier. Always pay a little bit more if you can to lower the principal and get rid of that interest a lot quicker. Reduce convenience foods. Microwavable junk food, packaged food is more expensive. TV dinners, exactly. They're less healthy and they cost more. So not always the easy thing to do, especially if you're single and don't know how to cook. So learn how to cook like Trenton has learned how to cook. It'll be better in the long run. Travel frugally. I thought the other night I saw in Neosho, I was driving by, and at one of the gas stations down there on the highway, I've seen the sign before, but I never had really realized that there's a bus stop there for Jefferson bus lines or something. And I saw a bus pulled in there, and they were picking up passengers. So a cheaper way to travel maybe is take a bus. Brandon mentioned it earlier, instead of flying or whatever, so something to think about. Cut the cell phone. Hard one to do again. I have a pay by the minute phone, so to me it works better for me because I don't use it a ton. I probably pay a little bit more by the minute, but I don't use very many minutes, so it works better for me. So, and you know, I like the statement here, a cell phone is not a necessity, it's a convenience. When people needed to make a call 20 years ago, they either waited until they got to the destination or pulled over and used a payphone. Can you find a payphone today? Very, very rarely. And if you do, it's probably broke. Cut your own hair. Trent, who cuts your hair?
Mom.
DeAndre, who cuts your hair? Well, I don't either, but still needs to be cut every now and then.
I try to show myself back home.
Yeah. My wife cuts my hair, can you tell? She does a good job too. Cut yours, so. I figure for men it's a little bit easier than women, but my wife spends too much money cutting her haircuts. We won't go there either, so. maintain your stuff. One of the things I saw in the book and was sharing with Dory is most, I've heard over my lifetime, you should get an oil change every 3,000 miles. This book said, don't believe that. Most places encourage you to get it every 5,000. And Dory said her car says every 6,000. So I've been getting the oil change too much. I'm stopping that, so.
I'm more like 7,000.
Is it? So
7,500.
read your manual, read your owner manual, fix your stuff, things like that, so.
I thought it was every 2 months.
Well, used to it was every 3,000 miles or 3 months, but
Yeah, the month,
Yeah.
the month time still actually applies because the oil breaks down
Yeah.
viscosity over time.
But I
so 3
seriously,
months.
takes me 2 months to put 7,000 miles on my vehicle.
Wow, you're driving a lot more than I am.
Yeah.
So it's a
It
lot of
really
it's going to depend on how much you're driving and stuff like that. So, but again, just maintain it. This isn't only talking about vehicles. It's talking about, you know, maintain your clothes, maintain other things to keep them going and lasting longer instead of going out and buying new. How many of you know how to sew?
I just learned.
You? Good.
I don't dry my shirts in the dryer and hang them out. They
Yeah,
last
I do.
a whole
I do
lot
my
longer.
polo shirts. I hang them up and not dry them. Just because the dryer's where they get beat up
Mhm.
more than anything. And save energy. Some great tips on lowering your electric bills, lower your hot water down a little bit so it's not taking up as much energy. One of the book, the 365 Ways to Live Cheap, talked about making sure your dryer vents are clean and stuff and getting the lint out. I need to do that because mine's not drying as efficiently right now, and sometimes I have to dry them twice to get a load dry. Not every time it seems like it.
The biggest problem I've seen is everybody wants to live in their house with every light on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
go to
you
my
have four.
aunt's house, my mom's house, they always have every light in the house on.
Yeah. When you have 4 kids, you have to work on to make sure they're shutting them off behind them. So
You can get a wood can like for heat during the winter. That's what my mom did.
get a
So
what?
We don't pay for gas at
Okay.
all. A wood can, I think it's
Okay.
a fireplace. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we burned wood. I burned probably 15 ricks of wood this year, and it wasn't even that bad of a winter. It's worse now than it has been most of the winter, in my opinion, in a way. But so I got to get out and cut some more wood. I keep telling my wife, let's not build any more fires, but it keeps getting 30 degrees at night. So,
Yeah.
but we have propane. We use very little propane on heat. Mostly it's used for our oven and stuff. So again, just read some of these tips. Save gas. Small things to do. Keep your tires inflated. If you look at some of these tips, oil changes probably affect that a little bit, but different things you can look at there. Only buy bargain clothes when you need clothes. I talked about front page a minute ago, so look for things like that. Again, I think the big thing is need, not want. Telecommute, working from home can save on all these things we've been talking about. The clothes, the eating out, the gas and stuff. So I like how he says that here. You can work in your underwear. I want to visualize anybody doing that right now, but and I don't think I could work at home. I need to get out and socialize, so probably wouldn't work for me. Plan ahead. Talking about different ways to plan ahead, look ahead. I like this one. I mentioned it a little bit ago. Cook ahead. When my wife, when we fire up a grill, we cook a bunch of stuff on the grill, and we eat it for several days. We take it to lunch the next day. We eat it the next afternoon or the next night, whatever. So we will, for a family of 6, we'll cook up at least 3 meals worth of stuff on that grill to utilize those charcoal briquettes as much as we can, because they stay hot once they go out. Dad, so you might as well cook a lot more. So a good way. Wash clothes less. You know, wear a shirt or pants more than once. I've got to get this dude, my 14-year-old. He puts something on for an hour and it's going in the dirty clothes basket when he changes. And I'm like, because A, he's not paying for anything, he's not washing the clothes for the most part. So saves on a lot of things by wearing your clothes more. Sun dry your clothes. I got a clothesline, don't use it, so probably wouldn't work well for me, but it obviously will save you money and energy and stuff like we talked about. Eat less meat. Meat's pretty expensive. If you're like me, I'm not saying be a vegetarian, but maybe eat less meat. Huh?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I knew you'd say that. It is. Or raise your own meat like we are doing. I've got at the end of, we're fattening up a steer butcher. At the end of buying all the feed, and processing him and stuff, I'm gonna try to determine out how much money we actually save, because it costs a lot to feed him and stuff, so feed. Huh?
It doesn't cost a lot to feed them.
Yeah. So I wanna see, that's why I'm wanting to see if it's saving us much money. I know it will save us a little bit. This talks about.
Your meat at meat shops is more cheaper than buying at the store.
Well, yeah. Food for Less has a meat sale once every now and then that I think you can get pretty good prices on. So just, again, look for those things. Save on groceries. A lot of tips here, just look for those. I'm not a big coupon believer, but I am a big believer in buying the off brands, the generic brands.
Yeah, I think they're value brand.
The value brands. There's a few things that I refuse to buy because I don't think it tastes quite as good on the value brands, but most things I think are just as good, if not sometimes better, in my opinion. We buy our non-edible stuff is almost always cheap brands. So frugal Christmas we talked about earlier. Cheaper ways to do Christmas. Maybe do less Christmas, whatever. And eat a cheap breakfast. And there's some great ones here. Breakfast, I think, is the most important meal of the day. So here are the websites that I utilize, and when all the clicking you could do, you can look at some of these. Again, I'll send this to you. Here's some other helpful sites that I looked at some things to see if I liked anything. This practicalmoneyskills.com has a calculator on there if you want to record how much you do. That's where I said I don't like doing that. But you'll get this in an email, so you can check them out further. Here's our 3 books, 365 Ways to Live Cheap. There's this one, Be Sensible and Suddenly Frugal. Dory, do you want to draw? Is anybody not interested in winning a book? We can take Matt and DeAndre's name out if they.
Oh, okay.
And the first
Well,
person-
how about if we draw them, I'll just put them back, so I don't
Okay.
have to dig through them. Want to pick one, Trenton? You pick your own one, or something funny. You want to go ahead and look at it? Anita.
Which one do you want?
365 ways to live cheap.
This is a good one. I really like some of the things in there.
Try not to. Is that
How did you get to it? Yeah.
Robbie?
Suddenly frugal. Suddenly frugal. And last one.
I guess I'll take a piece.
Be sensible.
Cool. Very good.
Okay, last slide. Last night I umpired a game, and me and my buddy stopped at Casey's, and I witnessed something that I've witnessed many, many times, but I thought, I've got to put that in my PowerPoint presentation, because I think it's crazy. Don't buy lottery tickets. I sat there and watched a couple come in with a winning lottery ticket, and I think it gave them $5, and I said, we'll take another one for $5. A lottery ticket for $5 I thought was crazy in the first place. They went over to the corner and scratched off that one, and they won $10. So they went back and bought 2 more. They went over the corner and scratched that one, and they won $5 on one of those. They went over and got 1 more, and then they finally ran out. Take the $5 you want if you're going to do that and go spend it on something else, but instead of just sitting there playing, I mean, to me, do not believe the stuff that it goes to education, because I don't think it does. These big ads, personally, I don't think it does. So that's just a tidbit for myself. I added that one. That's not from Leo, but I think that's a big one. So I think you waste more money trying to win money than you
The
will
way you
anything.
look at it, like all the money is spent on those lotto tickets, you could probably save it up.
Right. And it's like a lot of things. the sweets, the alcohol, the cigarettes, you know, and I'm a firm believer, getting off subject, I'm glad you said that. My children don't go in all these travel leagues and play baseball and basketball all over the country, trying to get a college scholarship. I've got a friend whose daughter got a college scholarship and was a very successful college player, but he spent thousands of dollars traveling all over the country to watch her play when she was little that he could have used to pay for her schooling instead of getting that scholarship. So catch-22 there, I guess, but you know, the money you spend sometimes could be saved and used on something else. So just some tips. So thank you for throwing that in. I think that's a big waste of money in our society now. And I mean, you could add gambling to that, but I think as well, but that's to each his own. So any questions? Again, I will send everybody that came today a copy of this presentation if you're interested in looking at it. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it and can utilize something. If you complete the post-test for us, and I've also got a little quick evaluation. Post-test is on the other side of the pre-test. And then fill out this quick evaluation and make sure you can keep